I missed out on my 20s. I deserve to experience more, she said while demanding an open marriage. So I said nothing and focused on myself. Now she's begging to close it while I'm with someone who actually values me. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I guess I should start with a little background, because otherwise none of this is going to make sense. I got married young. Not stupid young, but young enough that when people heard I was engaged at 25, they'd tilt their heads and ask if I was sure. I was sure. I had been dating my wife, Hannah, since college. We met sophomore year, bonded over bad coffee in the library, and by the time graduation rolled around, we were inseparable. Everyone else seemed to be playing musical chairs with relationships, but I was the guy who went home early because I wanted to wake up the next morning and take Hannah out for breakfast. She made me feel like I'd already won the lottery, so why would I waste time pretending I wanted to be anywhere else? Marriage came naturally for us. We skipped the whole, let's live together and see how it goes stage because we'd basically been living at each other's apartments already. I proposed at 24, she cried, said yes, and we got married a year later in a small ceremony. Looking back, I realized I was the kind of husband people like to call safe. I worked a steady job in IT, nothing flashy, but it paid the bills and left room for saving. I cooked dinner half the week, handled the boring things like insurance and car maintenance, and never missed anniversaries or birthdays. I wasn't perfect, but I was consistent. I thought consistency was a good thing. Hannah was different. She had always been the dreamer. Where I found comfort in structure, she thrived on spontaneity. Weekend road trips, last-minute concerts, picking up a new hobby every few months. She was full of energy, the kind of woman people noticed when she walked into a room. I liked that about her. She made me feel more alive, and I liked to think I balanced her out, gave her stability when she needed it. For most of our marriage, it felt like that balance worked. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. We went on one nice vacation a year, took care of our apartment, and spent nights watching shows or hanging out with friends. I honestly thought we were both happy, but then little things started creeping in. Hannah would make comments when we went out with friends. Nothing huge at first, just throwaway lines that seemed like jokes. Sometimes I feel like I missed out on my crazy years, she laughed once when her friend was telling a wild story from college. I went straight from dorm life to being a wife. Everyone laughed. I laughed too, though I felt a little sting. I brushed it off because people say things they don't mean in the moment. But those comments kept coming. Subtle jabs during conversations. I never really got to try dating apps. Sometimes I wonder what it would have been like to just travel and not worry about responsibility. Most of my 20s were just us playing house. Always said with a laugh, always in public, so I told myself not to take it seriously. Still, I couldn't shake the unease it gave me. At home, things seemed normal enough. She still kissed me goodbye before work. We still went out to dinner on Fridays. We still talked about maybe buying a house in a few years. But every now and then, I catch her scrolling through old photos of her college friends traveling through Europe or making wistful comments about second chances and do-overs. I didn't think much of it. I figured everyone has those what-if moments, and she'd eventually realize that the life we had was good, better than good. We were stable, we had love, and we had a future. I had no idea just how wrong I was. The conversation that changed everything happened on a quiet Wednesday night. I remember it clearly because there was nothing unusual about the day itself. I came home from work, made us pasta, and we sat down at the table like always. Hannah had a glass of wine in her hand, swirling it slowly. She looked thoughtful, almost distant. Halfway through dinner, she put her fork down and said it. I was a good girl who got married young, she started, her voice careful, like she was testing the waters. I missed out on my 20s. I deserve to experience what I never had. I froze, pasta halfway to my mouth. I set the fork down, staring at her. What do you mean? I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. She sighed, almost as if I was being slow. I mean, I went from college to being someone's wife. Straight from dorm rooms to responsibility. I never got to have that wild, fun stage that everyone else did. No backpacking through Europe, no dating around, no experimenting. None of it. My chest felt tight. So what are you saying, Hannah? You regret marrying me? She waved her hand quickly, as if dismissing the thought. No, it's not that. I love you. But don't you see? We're still young. I want to experience more before I'm too old to enjoy it. I just stared at her, and she leaned forward, her eyes shining like she'd been waiting to say this for a long time. I think we should open the marriage. The words hit like a punch. I didn't yell. I didn't slam my hand on the table. I just sat there, trying to process. Open the marriage? I repeated slowly. Yes, she said, like it was obvious. Just for a while. Think about it. We both get to explore, meet new people, see what's out there. Then we come back stronger. That's what everyone's doing now. It's growth. Growth. She said it like cheating was some kind of self-improvement seminar. Hannah, I said quietly, when I married you, it wasn't to see what's out there. It was because I wanted you. Only you. She leaned back in her chair, exasperated. You're so rigid sometimes. You've built this safe little world. But I don't want safe. I want passion, adventure. I want to know what it's like to be desired by other men. You don't understand because you've had me all this time. I never had that chance. Her words burned, but I didn't let it show. So you want to sleep with other guys? I said flatly. She shrugged. If you want to put it crudely, sure. But it's not just about that. It's about living. About not feeling like I wasted my best years. I didn't answer. I just sat there, staring at the woman I thought I knew. Finally, she leaned forward again, softer this time. Look, I'm not saying we're broken. I'm just saying, let's give ourselves some freedom. You'll see. It'll make us stronger. I pushed my chair back and stood up. My heart was pounding, but my voice came out steady. Thanks for dinner, I said quietly. I need to think. And I walked out of the room before she could say another word. The days after that conversation felt like living in some strange alternate reality. I kept waiting for her to take it back. To laugh, say she'd had too much wine, that she didn't mean it. But Hannah never walked it back. In fact, she doubled down. A week later, I came home from work and saw her on the couch, phone in hand, swiping left and right like it was the most normal thing in the world. What are you doing? I asked, though I already knew. She didn't even look guilty. Setting up a profile. Don't give me that look. You knew this was coming. We agreed. No, I cut her off. You decided. She smirked, tapping at the screen. Same thing. That was the moment I knew. Something in her had shifted, and there was no going back. She started going out more. Girls' nights, that somehow ended at 2 in the morning. New clothes that looked nothing like her usual style. Tighter, shorter, bolder. She wore lipstick shades she'd never bothered with before. When I asked where she was going, she'd roll her eyes. Why do you care? You're free to go out too. But I didn't. I didn't want to. I'd sit on the couch in the quiet apartment, staring at the walls, trying to figure out where everything had gone wrong. I replayed our early years in my head, the little sacrifices I'd made, the ways I'd tried to make her happy. None of it seemed to matter anymore. One night, she came home smelling like someone else's cologne. I didn't ask. I didn't want the answer. She flopped onto the couch next to me, grinning like a teenager. You know, this is actually good for us. I feel so alive again. I didn't respond. You should try it, she pressed. Download an app, talk to someone. It'll take the pressure off me. We'll both grow. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was glowing, but it wasn't the glow of happiness. It was the reckless shine of someone running full speed toward a cliff. I thought about yelling, about demanding she stop, about reminding her of vows and promises. But instead, something inside me clicked. I didn't need to argue. I didn't need to beg. I just needed to step back. So I did. I stopped checking where she went. Stopped waiting up. Stopped asking questions I didn't want the answers to. And in the silence, I started changing too. At first, it was small things. I dusted off my old running shoes and went for a jog. The first time nearly killed me, but I kept going. I signed up for a gym membership. I started cooking better meals for myself instead of waiting for her. I even signed up for a night class in project management, something I'd been putting off for years. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't orbiting around Hannah. I was building my own center of gravity. She didn't notice at first. She was too busy chasing her freedom. But I noticed. Every day, I felt a little stronger, a little clearer. And while she was busy experiencing her 20s, I was quietly stepping out of her shadow. It didn't take long for the shine to wear off. At first, Hannah was practically glowing every time she came home from her new adventures. She'd talk about places she went, people she met, and she carried herself like she was 22 again. But cracks started showing quickly. One Saturday morning, I found her sitting at the kitchen table staring at her phone, eyes red. "You okay?" I asked flatly. She sniffed. "He said he'd call back." "He didn't." I didn't need to ask who he was. She'd been gushing about some younger guy she met at a bar, telling me how he gets me in ways you never did. Now, less than a week later, she was already discarded. But she bounced back fast. A new outfit, a new guy, another late night. Except the pattern repeated. Men ghosted her, or treated her like a fling and nothing more. Her friends, the ones who cheered her on at first, started pulling away too. They got tired of the constant drama, the endless retelling of hookups and heartbreaks. Even her sister, usually her biggest supporter, stopped returning calls after Hannah borrowed money and never paid it back. Meanwhile, my life was quietly improving. I lost 15 pounds. My coworkers started commenting on how much more confident I seemed. I finished my night class and earned a certification that opened doors to better opportunities at work. I didn't brag. I didn't rub it in her face. I just lived my life. But she noticed. Oh, she noticed. One evening, she came home, kicked off her heels, and flopped on the couch. She stared at me for a long time before saying, almost accusingly, "You've changed." I shrugged. "Maybe." "You look good," she admitted, biting her lip. "Better than you used to." I didn't answer. And that silence, the same silence I once thought was weakness, started becoming my greatest power. It started with little comments. "I miss our movie nights. Remember when we used to cook together? Do you still like that Italian place downtown?" I gave short, polite answers. Nothing more. Then came the texts. "Hannah, I don't like the people I've been seeing. They don't care about me like you do." "Me? Sounds tough." "Hannah, I think this open marriage idea was a mistake." "Me? Maybe." "Hannah, can we talk? Please." "Me, I'm busy." The first phone call came at midnight. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. Her voice was shaky. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I needed freedom, but all I found were liars and users. I thought they wanted me, but they didn't. They just wanted, and then they left. I stayed quiet. She filled the silence herself. "You never fought for us," she said bitterly, like I was the one who had walked away. "You just let me do it." I finally spoke. "Calm, steady. You made your choice, Hannah." She started crying. "But I don't want this anymore. I want us. Please, let's close the marriage. We can go back to how it was." I ended the call without another word. That only made her try harder. The next week, she showed up at my apartment door uninvited. Her eyes were puffy, her makeup smudged. She tried to smile, but it looked more like a grimace. "Can I come in?" she asked. "No," I said simply. She crossed her arms, anger flaring. "So that's it? After everything we've been through, you're just going to shut me out? You're not even going to try?" I met her glare calmly. "You already decided what we were worth." Her face crumpled. She opened her mouth to argue, but no words came out. She turned and walked away. For the first time since she uttered those words about missing out on her 20s, I felt completely in control. And she knew it too. Hannah didn't give up right away. A few weeks later, she invited me to meet for dinner. I almost ignored her message, but curiosity won out. I wanted to see what she'd try next. When I walked into the restaurant, she was already there, dressed like it was a date, hair done, makeup perfect. She smiled nervously, the kind of smile that hides desperation. "Thanks for coming," she said softly. I sat across from her, arms folded. "What do you want, Hannah?" Her eyes searched mine, pleading. I was stupid. I thought I wanted freedom. I thought I was missing out. But the truth is, I lost myself. I lost us. I just want to start over. I didn't say anything. She kept talking, words tumbling over each other. "I see you now, and you're different. Stronger. Better. And I realize you were always the one. You were stable. You were safe. But not in a boring way, in a way that mattered. I can't believe I risked all of that for nothing." She reached across the table for my hand. I didn't move. "Hannah," I said finally, my voice calm and even. "You wanted adventure. You wanted to chase what you thought you missed. And you got it. You had your chance. Now it's gone." Her lip trembled. "Please don't say that. It's the truth." For a moment, her confident facade broke completely. She looked like a scared teenager, lost and hollow. "You're seeing someone, aren't you?" she whispered. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. My silence said enough. She withdrew her hand, staring down at the table. So that's it. You're just done with me. I was done the day you opened the door, I said. I stood up, left cash for my meal, and walked out. I didn't look back. Hannah kept trying for a while. Texts, calls, even emails. Each one was shorter than the last, until finally, she stopped altogether. Word got around through mutual friends. She wasn't doing well. She burned through her savings chasing her new life, and the men she chased stopped answering her calls. Her family, tired of bailing her out, put distance between them. She was alone. Meanwhile, my life moved forward. I started dating a woman I met through my certification program. Someone grounded, kind, and genuinely interested in who I was, not what she thought I lacked. We clicked in a way I never had with Hannah. With her, I didn't feel like I was always auditioning to be good enough. One night, months later, I got a final text from Hannah. I just want you to know I regret everything. I miss what we had. I wish I could go back. I didn't reply. Instead, I put my phone down, turned back to the woman beside me, and kept living. Because the truth was, I hadn't lost anything. Hannah had. And for the first time in years, I felt completely free. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.